Amara, a struggling cloth seller in the bustling streets of Lagos, discovers a secret society offering unimaginable success in exchange for a chilling sacrifice, leaving her torn between desperation and love for her children. Once upon a time, in the bustling streets of Lagos filled with noise, the clatter of hooves, the honking of impatient danfo buses, and the sharp voices of market sellers calling out their goods, Amara's small stall stood at the edge of the market, displaying an assortment of colorful fabrics. But despite the vivid patterns and her constant calls to passing shoppers, her sales were painfully low. "Buy from me, auntie. This Ankara is the best in Lagos," she shouted, forcing a smile at a potential customer who glanced her way but kept walking. Her competitors, only a few stalls away, seemed to be thriving. Their stalls bustled with activity, and their laughter echoed over the noise of the market. Amara watched them, bitterness curling in her chest. She worked just as hard, if not harder. Why wasn't she succeeding? As the sun dipped lower, casting a golden hue over the streets, Amara began packing her unsold goods. Her children, Kamsi and Adis, waited at home, their innocent faces the only bright spot in her increasingly frustrating days. That evening, over a meager dinner, Kamsi said, "Mama, why don't people buy your cloth? Your fabrics are nicer than theirs." Amara's throat tightened. How could she explain the unfairness of the world to a 12-year-old? The market had always been her life. Years ago, she inherited the stall from her late mother, a woman known for her charm and resilience. Back then, the market was vibrant, and Amara dreamed of expanding the family trade. But over time, larger traders and modern shops siphoned off her customers. The struggle seemed endless, and her mother's legacy now felt like a chain holding her down. Later that night, as she lay awake, staring at the ceiling of their small, dimly lit room, she heard whispers from the neighboring stall owners. They spoke of Madame Elle, a woman who had transformed her business overnight after joining a mysterious circle. The whispers were filled with awe and fear, and Amara's curiosity was piqued. The next morning, Amara approached Madame Elle, whose wealth and elegance were the talk of the market. The woman's eyes sparkled as she studied Amara. "You seek success," Madame Elle said with a knowing smile. "But are you willing to pay the price?" Amara's heart thumped. "What price?" Madame Elle didn't answer directly. Instead, she handed Amara a card with an address scribbled in gold ink. "Come tonight if you're ready to change your life." Torn between desperation and fear, Amara spent the day debating her decision. The thought of her children, their bright eyes and endless dreams, made her hesitate. But the weight of her struggles pressed down heavily. When the moon rose, Amara found herself standing outside the grand house at the address. Inside, a group of elegantly dressed men and women sat in a circle. At the center was an altar adorned with strange symbols. Madame Elle stood beside it, her smile both welcoming and unnerving. "Success," she began, "requires sacrifice." Amara's palms were clammy as she listened. The rules were clear: to join the circle and attain unimaginable success, she had to make a sacrifice. Not money, not goods, but something that truly mattered to her. "Your child," Madame Elle said softly, her eyes locking onto Amara's. Amara's breath caught. "No," she whispered, shaking her head. "I can't." "Think about it," Madame Elle said, her voice calm, almost soothing. "What do you want more? To remain in poverty, watching your children suffer? Or to give them a life of abundance? Sometimes, the greatest acts of love require the greatest sacrifices." Amara fled the house, her mind racing. Over the next few days, she couldn't shake the thoughts that plagued her. Visions of wealth and happiness danced before her eyes, but they were overshadowed by the faces of her children. Kamsi's sharp wit, Adi's sweet laughter. Could she truly give that up? One night, as she sat in her room, a chilling voice interrupted her thoughts. It was Madame Enkay. The offer expires soon, she said. Decide. Amara's dreams turned dark. She saw herself holding Kamsi's hand, leading him to a shadowy figure. She saw Adis crying, her tiny arms reaching out for her. Each morning, she woke drenched in sweat. Finally, unable to bear the torment, Amara returned to the house. This time, the ceremony began immediately. As the chants filled the air, Amara's heart pounded. She was handed a dagger, the blade gleaming under the dim light. Choose, Madame Enkay's voice echoed. But just as Amara raised the dagger, she saw something, a shadow in the corner of her eye. Turning, she saw the spectral figure of a woman, her face etched with sorrow. Don't do it, the figure whispered. They'll take everything from you. Amara froze. The room erupted in chaos as she dropped the dagger. Chanting turned to shouting, and she ran, tears streaming down her face. Back in her stall, the next day, Amara was a woman transformed. She worked tirelessly, ignoring the whispers and stares from others. Slowly, her determination paid off. Customers began to notice her passion, and sales trickled in. Her stall gradually grew into a full-fledged shop, a beacon of success in the Lagos market. Meanwhile, Kamsi and Adis began showing extraordinary talents. Kamsi excelled at marketing, creating campaigns that drew customers from far and wide. Adis, on the other hand, became a prodigious designer, her patterns and styles becoming the talk of the town. But as the years went by, strange occurrences continued to haunt Amara. The same mysterious symbols she had seen at Madame Enkay's appeared etched into her dreams. Kamsi began experiencing bouts of strange behavior, claiming to hear whispers that echoed from the market's darkest corners. Adis started drawing intricate designs that bore an uncanny resemblance to the altar she had seen at the ritual. Amara sought guidance from a spiritual elder in her community. The elder, a wise but stern woman named Enkay, listened carefully. The darkness you touched has left a mark, Enkay said. You must sever all ties, or it will consume everything you hold dear. Guided by Enkay, Amara embarked on a journey to break free. This involved confronting her fears and unraveling the mystery of Madame Enkay's circle. Amara's efforts took her deep into Lagos' hidden underworld, where she discovered the circle's sinister reach extended far beyond the market. One stormy night, Madame Enkay appeared again, this time with a new offer. You've grown beyond my expectations, Amara. Join us now, and you can have power beyond imagination, she said, her voice smooth and enticing. Amara's spine stiffened. I've learned that true power comes from love and resilience. No shortcuts. Madame Enkay's smile faded. She warned, you've rejected us twice. Beware the consequences. The weeks that followed were filled with strange occurrences. Business slowed unexpectedly, accidents happened at the shop, and Kamsi fell ill. Fear gripped Amara, but she refused to give in. Summoning courage, she sought spiritual help. Guided by Enkay, she uncovered the truth about the circle's dark influence and performed rituals to break free from its grasp. The process was long and grueling, involving ceremonies that tested her resolve and strength. Each step brought her closer to reclaiming her family's safety. When the shadows lifted, the family's fortunes returned. Kamsi recovered, and Adis' designs gained international acclaim. Amara's shop expanded, becoming a symbol of hard work and determination. Though she sometimes wondered about the paths not taken, Amara knew her choice had been right. The past remained a shadow, but her family's laughter was the light that kept her moving forward. As her business flourished, Amara took it upon herself to mentor young entrepreneurs, sharing her experiences and warning them of shortcuts that came at a great cost. She became a beacon of hope and resilience in her community, a living testament to the power of faith and determination. But her story did not end there. Strange letters began arriving at her shop, each bearing an unfamiliar symbol and ominous messages like, "Your time is not yours alone." Initially dismissing them as pranks, Amara realized the messages contained veiled warnings about her children. Amara's nights grew restless again. Kamsi started having dreams he couldn't explain, and Adi's designs turned darker, more intricate, and eerily prophetic. Mom and Charie urged Amara to protect her family with stronger spiritual safeguards, but there was a limit to what rituals could do against the lingering grip of the circle. One fateful evening, a shadowy figure appeared at their door. It was a former member of the circle who had escaped years ago. He told Amara that her defiance had drawn their ire, and they would stop at nothing to reclaim what they believed was owed to them. He handed her a journal detailing the secrets of the circle's inner workings. Desperate and armed with this new knowledge, Amara began preparing her family for an inevitable confrontation. She delved deeper into the journal, uncovering horrifying truths about the circle's rituals and the full extent of their reach. The market was just a fragment of their domain, their influence spread across the entire city, with roots in politics, commerce, and even religion. Amara's resolve hardened. She knew she couldn't simply protect her family, she had to dismantle the circle's power. Enlisting the help of Mom and Charie and other trusted community members, she began crafting a plan to expose the circle's operations to the public. The climax came during a market festival, where the circle planned to induct new members in a grand, symbolic ritual. Amara infiltrated the gathering with the help of allies and unveiled their secrets in front of the entire community. The market erupted in chaos as people turned against the circle's members, forcing them to retreat into the shadows. Though the circle's influence wasn't entirely eradicated, their grip on the market was broken. Amara's bravery inspired others to stand up against corruption and oppression. Her family finally found peace, and her story became a legend, told to remind future generations of the power of resilience and courage. Amara stood at her shop one evening, watching the sun set over the bustling market. Her children laughed nearby, their voices blending with the vibrant sounds of Lagos. She smiled, knowing they were safe, for now. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she was ready to face them, armed with the love of her family and the strength of her community.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.